So today we will discuss on very important topic, that is digestion and absorption. So what is digestion? Digestion is the process by which the complex food substance that we take in the form of carbohydrate, protein or fats in the organic or complex form, and these complex food substances are converted into simple absorbable form via mechanical and biochemical method. So digestion is nothing but it is the breaking down of complex substance into simple absorbable form via the mechanical and the biochemical method. Moving into the next part, that is the two pillar of digestive system. So the digestive system can be divided into two pillars, that is the alimentary canal and the accessory gland. What is alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is the continuous muscular tube that begins from the anterior opening, that is the mouth, and it ends with the posterior opening, that is the anus. Whereas the accessory gland is the chemical factories that is located outside the main tube, and it secretes the essential juice that are essential for the digestion of various substances or the various complex food substance that we take. So first of all, we will discuss on the oral cavity from which the alimentary canal begins. Oral cavity is also known as buccal cavity, and it is the leading part, or it begins with the mouth. And oral cavity basically consists of the palate or the roof of the roof, and the palate can be of two type: soft palate and hard palate. And the next is tongue. The tongue is freely movable muscular organ. The tongue can be moved at all sides and is attached to the floor of the oral cavity by the frenulum. Its upper surface have the small projection called the papillae, some of which bear the taste bud. And the mouth or the oral cavity also consists of teeth. That is, the teeth is the hard structure that is embedded with the jawbone, or and it initiate with the mechanical breakdown of the food that we take or that we consume or that we eat. The next we will understand the structure of the teeth or the structural classification of the teeth. Each teeth is deeply embedded to a protective socket of the jawbone, and the teeth, there are two set of teeth that arise throughout the life. First is the temporary teeth, or is also known as the milk teeth, that is deciduous and is usually replaced by the time. And the next is the permanent teeth that usually arise during the adult time or just after the replacement of the temporary teeth. And this permanent teeth usually stays throughout the life. An adult human being have 32 permanent teeth that is divided into four distinct shapes: incisor, canine, premolar and molar. The upper and the lower teeth can be remembered by the formula I, C, P, M and M, and is represented by the mathematical formula 2, 1, 2, 3. That means 2 incisor, 1 canine, 2 premolar and 3 molar teeth. The buccal cavity then joins the next stage or the next organ, that is the pharynx. Pharynx is a short common passage, that is the way that passes both the food and the air. and pharynx lead the food substances into the epiglottis, and the epiglottis is basically a cartilaginous flap structure that usually closes or move down when we swallow the food, and this epiglottis leads the food into the esophagus. Esophagus is a long, thin, muscular structure that passes through the neck, thorax, and the diaphragm. It is guarded by a bottom. It is guarded by a bottom. At the bottom, it have a gastroesophageal sphincter that regulate the entry of the food into the stomach. And moving into the next part, that is the stomach. Stomach is basically an organ that temporarily stores the food that is mechanically converted into the sperm, and the stomach can be divided into three regions. That is the fundal region, that is the upper part of the stomach. It is the dome shaped part. The next is the body. It is the central part, and the lower part is known as the pyloric portion. Pyloric portion is basically the shape that exits the food from the stomach into the small intestine, and the end of the pyloric portion have a sphincter that is known as the pyloric sphincter. The food from the stomach move into the small intestine. Small intestine is the vast majority of the biochemical digestion and the nutritional absorption takes place in this small intestine. Small intestine can be divided into duodenum, duodenum, and the ileum. So you can see in this diagram that duodenum is a C-shaped structure that emerges from the stomach, or the duodenum start with the stomach and is the critical junction that and is the point where the various juice from the liver and the pancreas comes and join into the duodenum. From the duodenum, the food moves into the duodenum, another part of the small intestine. The duodenum is a long coiled middle portion of the intestine, and from the duodenum it moves into the ileum. It is highly coiled and is the final section that connects the small intestine to the large intestine. Moving into the large intestine is also have the three part, that is the cecum, colon, and the rectum. The cecum is a blind sac hosting symbiotic microorganism attached to it in the vermiform appendix, a narrow finger-like vestigial organ. And from the cecum, the food moves into the colon. The colon can be divided into four parts, that is the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and the sigmoid colon. So the diagram shows which part is the ascending colon, which part is the transverse colon, the descending colon, and the sigmoid colon. From the colon, the food moves into the rectum. Rectum is the final anatomical storage site for the feces before it opens into the anus. So the various organ or the muscular layer of the alimentary canal have the various form of tissue. These tissues can be divided into submucosa, mucosa, serosa, and muscularis. So this connective tissue can be of four type and is in four layer. The outermost layer is the serosa, and it is the protective layer made up of mesothelium and the connective tissue. Next to the serosa is the muscularis. It is made up of smooth muscle arranged into the inner circular layer and an outer longitudinal layer to drive the movement of the food substance. The next is the submucosa. It is the loose connective tissue connecting nerve, blood vessel, and the lymph vessel. And it should be noted that it is in the duodenum. The glands are also present in the submucosa. The next and the most innermost layer of the alimentary canal is the mucosa. The innermost layer is the lining directly framing the lumen, the empty space inside the tube.